Today, we're going to be talking about government regulations and licensing with respect to starting a business. So, if you are looking at becoming an entrepreneur and starting your own business, it's very important that early on in that process, you do a fair bit amount of research and understand all of the rules and regulations for your industry and for running a business in general, as well as acquire all the needed permits and licensing. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about are permits and licenses. Okay, so a definition: a permit or a license is an official document giving someone authorization to do something. Okay, it's quite vague, but you should be familiar with them because we do all currently interact with them every day. So you need a driver's license to be allowed to drive in Canada and in Ontario. Okay, that is a license. That is a documentation that gives you the authority to do something driving a car. The same things exist within the world of business. There are many, many things in our world that are governed and restricted by the government and that you are going to need permits or licenses to do. Okay. However, different businesses require different permits and licenses based off of two different things. The first one is location. Okay, you need to have an idea when you're doing your research of where you want to run your business, not just province and country, but often even city. Okay, and if you are looking at expanding a business later on or offering a business in multiple locations, you need to make sure that you've done the research to make sure that you have the correct permit. So an example of this would be the food truck industry. The permits that you need and the rules that exist in one city are very different than another. And we've seen in the news recently food trucks that, even were just driving through one city to the other that have gotten in trouble with the law for not having the correct permits and licensing. Okay. The next thing that you need to look at permits for is specifically what your business does. Okay. If you serve food or alcohol, there are certain permits that you need. If you manufacture items, specifically those that, maybe affect children or are injected into humans, okay, there are going to be different permits and licensing processes that need to happen. Okay, so this is very much not at all a one-size-fits-all. These are very specific, and you need to be making sure that you are doing the required research to understand this. When doing this research, I highly suggest that you do not use Google to do this. You need to make sure that you are using government websites, okay, with all of the accurate information, because there is no, oh, I tried to research, or oh, the internet said this. Okay, it is expected that you as a business owner have the required permits and have done the research yourself, or there are very strict consequences. So today we are going to be looking at a website that is offered by the government of Canada and Ontario specifically for looking at permits and licensing. All right, so as you can see, the website here, it allows you to start, and I would suggest by selecting the province or territory that you are looking to primarily run your business out of. Okay, so if we're looking at Ontario, it's now brought us to the Ontario provincial specific page. Okay, and you can see that there's two main pieces of information that you're going to have to provide, and these coincide with those two main factors that we talked about. The first one is location. So if you go ahead and just start typing, I've already pre-filled it in, it's going to pull up the different categories of locations. Okay, so as you'll notice, while I put in Kitchener, Ontario, it is giving all the little sub areas. So if you live in quite a small town or county, it may have to pull up a larger county that you're going to be searching by. Okay, and then the next thing you're going to do is, and I'll just delete this quickly for you, is you're going to start typing in the industry. So for example, I started typing in food, and you'll see that a number of different ones came up. Okay, but if I got more specific and said food truck, it then pulled up a very specific category for me. okay, which in legal terms is mobile food concession cart or truck. So this includes street food, food vendors, snack trucks, catering trucks, and coffee trucks. Okay, so if I select that, so I have my location and I have my industry, I'm going to search. Okay. What you're going to get, okay, is lots of information. Okay, so again, it's important for you to know what is needed. You'll see up here, it has found 33 possible permits. Okay, that doesn't mean you need all of them. Okay, it's just saying there's some that might require. On the left-hand side, it's looking at different activities within this category that you've created. So the first one may be starting your business. That's the one that's selected here. So in the aspect of starting a new food truck, these are the permits that might be required. Okay, so the first one is talking about if you are registering a business as a limited liability partnership, extra provincial limited liability partnership, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, limited liability means it's legally, as we've talked about before. Okay, you are creating a more formal legalized structure for your business. If you are doing that, then this would be a permit that might be required. Okay, there is the federal business registration. Okay, for this one, it is required of all businesses. You need to register your business. Okay, so if you were to click on this one, okay, it's going to give you information about it. Okay, so you need to register your business. Why you might need to register your business and get a business number? Well, you need to do it to collect taxes. You need to do it to pay your employees. You need to do it to do tax returns, etc. Okay, it's telling you more information. Registration is mandatory if your business makes $30,000 or more per year. Okay, and then some more information down there. And right from here, you can actually access the online application forms or the paper application forms. Or as you're going, you can simply star this as a permit that you want to save, and you can go back to and do them later. So it really is a very intuitive program for you to use. Okay, some more permits here. It's talking about a name registration for corporations. So if you were going to be incorporating, you would have to do that. Again, a federal incorporation if you're incorporating, or your federal incorporation if you're not for profit. So if those don't apply, then you don't need to worry about that. Okay, and then you're just going to continue down through each of the different categories and looking as they apply. So just managing and operating. Okay, so this is, if you employ 100 or more employees. Okay, if you're going to have a sign, you need sign permits. Okay, and then continuing on, business and professional services, selling, serving, exporting, construction, setting up your facility, using road, sidewalks, etc., special event permit. All of these kind of things are in here. So you need to take the time to look through what you need. And if you are looking to go in different areas, you can then change the location up here and see what new things have popped up. Okay, so this is the BizPal website. It is a wonderful website that's been created to help specifically new businesses, but all businesses know what permits are required and kind of streamline that process. When you do click on a specific one of how you want to apply or to get more information, it will likely pull you to other websites, whether they're provincial, regional, or federal. Okay, but this is just an awesome portal to kind of help streamline the process of finding those permits that you need to use. So the next area of research that you need to consider is about regulations. So for a definition, a regulation is a rule or a directive made and maintained by an authority. Okay, so to help us kind of understand, both of these are affected by the government. Both of these are set out by the government, both regulations and permits, okay? But regulations are just rules. These apply to everyone, okay? Whereas permits are specific documents that you're going to apply for to allow you to do something, okay? So, for example, there is regulations and rules that say, that you cannot serve alcohol before a certain time in the morning. Okay. However, there is a permit that you need to get that will allow you as a business to serve alcohol at all. Okay, just kind of an example between them. So while we've looked at what permits we need, what we need to apply for to be able to run the business we want legally, we still need to know all of those laws and regulations that are going to affect what we can do. Basically, we need to make sure that we are following the law. So there are two main types of regulations that you need to be aware of. The first are those that govern the business operations that you're going to do. There are lots of regulations and laws in Canada around running a business. An example I've given is hiring. There are certain rules. There are certain laws and regulations that need to be followed when you are going through the process of hiring an employee, just like there would be for marketing or other areas of business that you do, no matter what your business is. There are also specific regulations that govern specific industries. So for an example, if you are a milk farmer, there are very specific regulations that affect that business and the things that you do every day. You're still governed by those same business operations if you are hiring new people to your business, but also those very specific things that you do because of your area of business are governed as well. So again, you need to make sure you're doing proper research. And for this, we need to go to the Government of Canada's website. So as you can see, it has brought us to the Government of Canada's website and has brought us to a specific page on regulations. Before we get into researching, I just want to highlight this for you here. It says regulations and standards are different for every industry and often specific to certain business activities. They can change over time. So just like I've mentioned, there are lots of specific regulations we need to be aware of, but you also need to be aware that they do change over time. Okay, so just because you looked before you started your business doesn't mean that you don't need to be keeping up with them. Okay, you'll notice a number of links here that can take you to more information, and really the first two are the most important to you. Okay, these are those two categories we talked about. So the first one are regulations that are specific to business activities. Okay, so these are things about if you are going to export or import or market or hire or manage employees. And if you follow this link, it's going to take you to another page that has a lot more links. Okay, so it's going to go through different things about registering your business, about human resources, about having employees, about marketing, okay, anti-spam legislation, privacy, health and safety, exporting, accessibility, etc., etc., etc. And each of these will continue to take you into further pages, okay? So this research can take time, and you need to take the time to go through and look at all of these regulations. Okay, if we go back, you'll see that the second one are the regulations that are specific to industries. Okay, so if we follow along, okay, you're going to see that it's looking specifically. Okay, so if you are starting a business that has to do with a trade in Canada, okay, these are just general for starting your business, so that would be good for everyone to look at. Okay, and then it's more specific. Are you a financial service? Are you in agriculture? Are you related to childcare and schooling? Okay, are you going to be building something? These are all the building codes. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. And then as I mentioned before, you'll click kind of on the ones that apply to you, and they'll take you into more detail and more detail and more detail until you find those specific regulations. All right, so as I mentioned, the concept of regulations and licensing is quite simple and straightforward, okay? It's about making sure you are following the laws and the rules of Canada, of your province, and of your municipality, okay? And it is all about research. So make sure you take the time and do the research so you know exactly what you need to be doing, what is expected of you, so that you can run your business legally and don't have to worry about any trouble in the future.
Thank you so much for watching today's lesson, brought to you by Plug In to Learning. All the resources used in this video are linked in the description below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And to continue learning with us, please subscribe.